Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Flora, and today we are going to talk about the power of belief. And I have a fabulous story about rats. Hear me out. If you're new to this podcast and to my channel, welcome. I'm Flora. For over 25 years, I've been helping people like you align into a life or a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you clear the 9 types of clutter that are keeping you from a life that you love. Very quickly, those 9 types of clutter are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. And today, we are going to clear some of that mental clutter that will help you shift your life almost immediately, which is so incredibly amazing. Okay, so the first thing I want to share with you is a story that I read online. And when I read this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this on the podcast. So I'm going to read directly from this story. And when I tried to Google who was the originator of this story, I couldn't really find it. This is based off of an actual laboratory experiment. So, and I do cite that source. Okay, so, and I quote, during a study at Harvard in 1957, Dr. Kurt Richter placed rats in a pool of water to test how long they could tread water. On average, they'd give up, sink, and drown after 15 minutes. But right before they gave up due to exhaustion, the researchers would pluck them out, dry them off, let them rest for a few minutes, and put them back for a second round. In this second try, how long do you think they lasted? Remember, they had just swam until failure only a few short minutes ago. How long do you think? Was it another 15 minutes, 10 minutes? 5 minutes? No. 60 hours. That is not an error. That's right. 60 hours of swimming, which is 2.5 days. The conclusion drawn was that since the rats believed that they would eventually be rescued, they could push their bodies way past what they previously thought possible. End quote. I want you to really let that sink in. Picture this. You are in the ocean, okay? You fall off the cruise ship. You're paddling, you're swimming, you're doing all the things. After 15 minutes, which seems like a lifetime for you, you get tired, you feel distraught. You're like, the cruise ship is never going to come back to get me. Oh my gosh. You start to feel yourself fading. You start to feel yourself sinking. And then you start to go under the water. Just at the very last minute, a boat that you didn't see that was behind you swooped you up, put you in, and you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. I thought I was going to drown. Woo! After about 20 minutes, something happens. Maybe a big wave comes and you flop back over the side and you're like, oh shit. Now you literally are able to tread water and stay afloat for 2.5 days. 2.5 days. Because you know you were rescued before. You believe someone is going to come get you, and you end up treading water and staying afloat for 2.5 days. What would happen if you did this in all the other parts of your life that you just give up on? Where you try something, however long it is, maybe it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and you don't see the results that you think you're going to get, and so you stop. What if you were to just keep going? What if you were to actually believe that you could do this, that you could get this done, that you could achieve this? I read a study years ago about the brain and our strength. And it was talking about superhuman strength and what happens when people get into accidents and mom pulls a car or, lifts a car off of her toddler, or someone moves a giant dumpster that's full, that's thousands and thousands of pounds, but they easily move it out of the way to rescue someone who's been wedged in there or something. We have reserves in our body, and our brain has set points to keep us safe and to conserve our energy so that in the face of danger, we can literally activate our superhuman strength. But on a day-to-day basis, our brains and our bodies are trying to keep us safe by conserving as much energy as possible, by only keeping us at this lower threshold, that 15-minute threshold, thinking, we got 15 minutes and that's it. When in reality, you have more than 2 days worth of oomph behind you. I say all that to say this again. What is something that you've been trying in your life but you keep giving up? When it gets just a little bit too hard or a little bit too frustrating or a little bit too exhausting, you give up. Or you pause for a moment and then you start again. What happens every single time you try and then stop, try and then stop, try and then stop. You're training your brain to make it a habit to only go to that 15 minutes and then stop. What would happen if you just kept going? If you felt that giving up point, that trigger point of, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. What would happen if you remembered this podcast and you remembered, oh yeah, Flora said that this is our built-in safety mechanism. And if I just keep going, I can go on indefinitely. I can go on for a much longer time. And then what happens when you keep doing that thing that you are wanting to do? You finally start getting those results that you've wanted to get. Whether in your business, in your relationships, in your finances, with your weight, in decluttering your house, whatever it is, in your life, those things that you've been wanting to get but you keep falling short. What would happen if you just kept going after that trigger point, after that point of failure, after that point of feeling like this is never going to get any easier, I'm not getting the results, this is bullshit, I put forth so much effort? What would happen if you just keep going? I'm going to tell you what happens because I see this every day in my clients that I work with. I see success. I see obstacles that they thought were insurmountable crumble. I see barriers that my clients thought would never come down are no longer an issue, are no longer a problem. I see things every day crumble before the eyes of my clients when they just keep going. So today I challenge you to think about that one thing in your life that you keep giving up on, that you keep putting off because of how many times you have failed on it in the past. And I challenge you to start it up again and to commit to going just 1 day longer, or just 1 hour longer, or even 1 minute longer than you did it before. Now, doing it on your own is hard. It is. That's why it's so much easier when you have someone to do this with. So I would encourage you to find an accountability buddy, whoever that may be, best friend, an acquaintance down the block, a partner. Find an accountability buddy. I do have 2 spots available for coaching. If you would like to meet with me every single week, via Zoom or phone, and you would like to have me on Voxer, which is our private coaching app that we use Monday through Friday during the day, we can check in every single day with each other. I can help you achieve and overcome these hurdles and these blocks and obstacles that have been your 15-minute mark. And I can help you reach that 2.5 day mark, metaphorically speaking. I can help you dissolve and disassemble those obstacles that have been keeping you stuck in your life. But you got to be willing to finally say yes. Yes to your future, and yes to that version of you that you know exists. If you're interested in working with me, click the link in the show notes. Let's talk. I have 2 spots available. Once these spots are full, they are full until at least March of next year. And we're switching to a wait list once these 2 spots are full. Click the link. Let's talk. Remember, all it takes is a clear vision of where you are and what you want, and the willingness to take one small degree of a shift every single day in the direction that you want to go, to align into a life that you absolutely are obsessed with. I love you. I hope this serves you today, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.